Good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP or Situation Report here at TGO Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. Quick reminder that this coming Saturday, January 12th, we're going to have a full day of financial briefings. Hey, where's this market heading? Is this the big one? Is it over with? The all clear? What's going on with China and the trade war? How are first quarter, or actually Q4 earnings going to impact the forward guidance? You name it. We're going to be covering everything this Saturday with some 500-pound heads from the industry. All you need to do is head to go.topgunoptions.com/event, and you can register. And even if you don't attend, you should be able to get the replays. But hopefully you can attend live so you can ask your questions and interact with all of our professionals. Okay. Today's brief, really good op-ed in the Wall Street Journal yesterday about Brazil's primal scream. Hey, socialism just didn't work around here, and this nation wants to try something new. This country went from being essentially military junta, a military dictatorship, to free, and we could learn a thing or two from them. Actually, they threw one of their former presidents in jail recently for corruption, and really should be taking the lead. And this guy, they're calling the Trump of the tropics. Bolsonaro wanting to crack down on crime, corruption, and really recapitalize their markets. Our EWZ trade's looking great. Starting to have a range-bound trade on EWZ. With an iron condor here, and it's going to be looking really good. We got an EWZ right here, right around the runoff election, and since we got into EWZ, a long-term bullish trade, it's up 24%. Very nice return with EWZ, and that doesn't look at all like this. Right? There's the S&P 500 here in the United States. So obviously EWZ and Brazil is kind of decoupled from our stock market, and this is definitely a good-looking trade. Definitely would be one I'd be looking to get into. Let's talk China. So it seems like we get these morning rallies up to 300 points in the market on quote, good news with the potential trade deal, and then we end up fading the rally. I'm not going to believe anything until I see it. The media really aren't covering what I think they should be covering about China. Trade ain't the issue, folks. It's China wanting to be a global superpower and overtake the United States. The president gave a speech the other day telling his army to prepare for war. There was an admiral last week who said, hey, the United States can't stand losing soldiers or sailors. Why don't we sink a couple of aircraft carriers next time they sail through one of our, our territorial waters? Well, guess what? We sailed the USS McCampbell the other day right through the South China Seas, and China lodged a formal complaint and said, hey, next time you guys do this, we might even take a shot at you. This is for real, folks. Obviously, as a former naval officer, and I've sailed in these waters. I sailed in the South China Sea. I've participated in the defense of Taiwan exercises. And the other day they said, what? Hey, that renegade province, we're taking back. That's ours. That's no free country. We obviously think it's a free and independent state. And we actually have the defense of Taiwan agreement. We said, hey, if Taiwan ever gets attacked by China, we will defend them. Folks, this is the trade issue is noise. Okay, does anybody actually, we're having to push to get China to follow through on their promises. The promises they made down in Buenos Aires, they're not, keeping up with. So does anybody actually think that they're going to agree to stop stealing our intellectual property? Let me rephrase that. They're going to agree to stop stealing our intellectual property. Do you think they're actually going to do it? The answer is no. Obviously, it's taking a toll on their economy, and the Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, Mr. Magoo, yesterday said what? Well, we're both getting a little bloodied here, but they're getting it a lot worse than we are. Let me give you a little bit of a newsflash. This guy does not care if his people are suffering. People are like, if their economy is really bad, there's going to be a social uprising. Google Tiananmen Square and let me know how the last uprising went with the Chinese people. Didn't go so hot. There ain't going to be any social unrest here in China, folks. They have Muslim, essentially internment camps right now, folks. This country doesn't care about its people. So for all the idiots out there saying they're getting more bloodied than us and they're going to capitulate, they're not. When you can dictate happiness and economic policy at the end of a bayonet, you win. So I'm a little. Use your brain, folks. Don't believe all the headlines that you're seeing in the financial media and all the cheerleaders out there. Use your thinking brain. This is I saw Bill Blaine, really smart dude. He comes out with his morning porridge. He's a big money manager. This relief rally feels desperate and too reliant on the Fed. Man, if I'd written that headline, I wish I'd written that headline because that's exactly how I feel. All of these in a down market, you sell the rips. I would sell into every one of those rips, including this one. Everybody's happy about some sort of trade deal. Do you know that the people meeting right now are like the lower level coffee getter people? All they're agreeing to is maybe having Mnuchin and some heavies meet down the road. That's what this rally is based on. But more importantly, it's also based on this, that the Fed chairman blinked. Well, guess what? We're going to hear again from this guy. I think the Fed's over communicating. He went from being, hey, we're going to raise twice next year to we're going to be data dependent. And the market had this rip your face off rally based on him saying we're going to be data dependent. What data came out last Friday? A blistering jobs report, which is good for the economy, bad for the Fed because they have to, pump the brakes a little bit. So, folks, I don't know. Here's the canary in the coal mine. As an options trader, and what you'll learn here at TGO is that this is what you need to be looking at in your cockpit: volatility. Volatility signal flashes red even as stocks rebound. We're seeing that in the VIX futures, the volatility index, the market's fear gauge. We are seeing a huge backwardation. What's that mean? It's when front month contracts expiring, closer to us, are more expensive than older ones, than ones dated further out. That's called backwardation. That's an indication that some investors, a lot of investors, expect wild pricing swings to continue. This backwardation has lasted for 66 days. This is one of the longest days of time periods of backwardation I can remember since I was actually sitting in the Board of Trade. And that was at the depths of the financial crisis. So the options market and volatility traders, folks, aren't signaling this isn't all clear. Believe them. Okay? Volatility, as I said, welcome to your new resting heart rate of around 20 on the VIX. We're below that right now. I would look to hedge right here, right now, and get some more SDS or some VIX calls on, which we're going to talk about in our 1 o'clock brief. So I want markets go up over time. 9/11, the financial crisis, the pets.com bubble, and the internet bubble bursting, all that stuff. Markets go up. We will end up and going up and getting on the escalator back up here, but it ain't going to be anytime soon, in my opinion. A resolution to the China issues would be great, and a Fed kind of being data dependent and saying all is well is awesome, but I'm not feeling it yet. This is a great sentence. This relief rally feels desperate and too reliant on the Fed. And listen to me, as a retail trader, you ain't going to power this market higher. Okay, there's a lot of huge institutions, family offices, hedge funds, financial firms that ain't dipping their toe back in the water yet. They're going to drive the market higher, not retail traders. So I agree with Morgan Stanley that I really don't think the all clear has sounded yet. And look at this, Apple hasn't been this unloved by Wall Street since 2005. Apple's Tim Cook's warning last week was incredible. The week before that was Fred Smith, and the closest alligator to our boat, other than the Fed chairman speaking on Friday, it's Thursday. It's on Thursday. Our earnings. Last earnings period, what happened? Right around here, JP Morgan, Target, CSX, you name the company, reported blistering earnings. And what happened? This happened. So this time period, and only 25% of companies that reported the previous quarter, mentioned the word China. I think it's going to be at least half that, and they're going to report a cloudy outlook. Earnings might be good, but remember, stocks move on the forward guidance. So they could say, man, we had a great Q4 and we're going to go out of business in a month if we don't have this China thing down. So it doesn't matter what their earnings were, it's what the forward guidance is. So be very, very careful. Going into earnings season right now with this kind of 2-week rip your face off rally, I would be hedging like you read about in Top Gun Options magazine. Okay. All right. I got to get going. I got to get ready for our 1 o'clock primary live trade brief. If you'd like to join us for, call it a 7-day test flight, all you have to do is head to our homepage, topgunoptions.com. You can scroll down and pick your channel, so to speak. Hey, I'm relatively new to options or don't know what an option is. I kind of know what I'm doing. And then Full Throttle Max is kind of where everybody ends up because you get access to everything we do for only $38. So a week test flight for $38. It's not even the cost of a drink going out down here in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so head to go.topgunoptions.com/go flight, just like the movie Apollo 13. Hey, I'm go for flight, and you can take your 7-day trial. Okay, I got to get going. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless.